Welcome back to Down the Track. In this episode, we'll be reviewing the T20 series between India and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka winning the series 2-1. I have with me my co-host Abrar Aziz. Bro, first of all, it was you could say India had to dive into the reserves. It was a weakened Indian side, but nonetheless a great performance from Sri Lanka. From the top of my head, Hasuranga was really good. Dhananjaya, their spinners were really good, and Karuna Ratne has been the star of the series for me. But if you just want to talk about the series, the last two games, India 80 all out in the final game, and therefore losing the series, and the game before that as well couldn't put much on the board. So your thoughts?
So basically, overall, I thought the T20 series it just it took away the light because of the fact that there were so many players that because of Krunal's COVID issue, a lot of players were not available. Having said that, I still think that India should have really put up a better show that they did, especially in the third game. That kind of the performance that they had with the bat was just unacceptable. Irrespective, I agree the pitches were absolutely abysmal. But to be able to put 140 runs on a poor wicket also is something that the Indian batsmen are capable of. Yes, there were a lot of debutants. Yes, there was a lot going on. But having said that, I just feel like there is a lot to be done if you want to be a team like India with the superpower where you can go on and win in any kind of conditions. These are the games that you have to win. Yes, it's a second string side. Yes, it's a third string side almost and everything. Yes, I agree with that, all of that. But I still think that I expect a little bit more from India. And there was one tweet that Harsha Bhogle put out there that said there are a lot of batsmen that are not bowling and a lot of bowlers that are not batting. We've spoken about this before as well.
We've spoken about this for a long time now.
Yeah. So we have, and if you saw that Sri Lanka had 8 bowlers, they used 8 bowlers out of 11 people. 8 people can bowl. To be able to bowl a couple of overs of spin or something is really not that hard. They really have to. India has to find a couple more spinning all-rounders. A fast bowling all-rounder just can't rely only on Hardik Pandya, and people should be given a little bit more opportunities. There has to be something that needs to be done. You just can't be a batsman and a fielder, and you think you have a place solid. You have to be much more than that. You see that the likes of Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan, all these guys used to bowl back in the day. I don't know what happened. Suddenly they just decided to completely shut off. No one's bowling anymore. Virat has bowled a few overs as well. The only person I haven't seen bowl is Suryakumar Yadav, amongst the Indian batsmen who I've seen, and Suryakumar is pretty new. So something has to be done about it. Just put about 20-25 overs in the nets. Can't be that bad, over a period of 2 or 3 days. Put on 8-10 overs a day or something like that. Just try to use the conditions. And I think that India also missed a trick with not using Nitish Rana in that second game. A couple of overs more of a spin in the middle where it was getting tight, that could have changed the situation. I mean, we could go on about this, but I expected more from this Indian side, and I was a little disappointed with the way the T20 series went.
Yeah, I honestly, when I saw the lineup in the second T20, unfortunately, after that Krunal incident, unfortunately, we live in these times, hope he feels better and everyone around him is safe. But unfortunately, we live in these times where, unprecedented, we don't know what's going to happen the next day. So, I was shocked to see that lineup, Bhuvi batting at 6. And straight away, I knew that this is not a balanced side. It's going to be very difficult to win this game. And then I think they did make 130, but even then they had a good start. It's just that no one had confidence because they didn't have that batting, I felt, to go on. No one in the sense, I think the likes of Shikhar Dhawan, the more experienced people were a bit cautious in that second game, whereas in the third game, everyone failed. And I'm not surprised. I think was it 2 or 3 years ago, I realized that IPL performance is very difficult to translate on the international stage, no matter who you're playing. This Sri Lankan team, that these guys should come and smash it. They're killing it in the IPL, where it is completely different because in the IPL, you're also up against 7 other Indians, a lot of them youngsters as well, right? So it's a bit more evenly matched in that sense. Okay, fine, you'll have one innings where you smash the likes of like Morkel or something like that. In the past, it might have happened. But if you look at it, it's still a domestic kind of thing. International is completely different. And it's a huge reality check because whenever we see an IPL innings, everybody says, you've heard this, you've probably said it, you've probably heard it from me, but we say this guy needs to play India. Padikkal needs to play India.
Yeah.
Samson needs to play India. This guy needs to play India. Goikard needs to play India. But look, when they do play India, it's not that easy. So, it just goes to show the level that Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli are at, it's completely different to these guys. And no matter what you do in the IPL, of course, it is a stepping stone, but, it doesn't translate into success right away in international cricket is a different ballgame altogether. And you have to work on your domestic Ranji Trophy. You have to work on, of course, your IPL as well. But I feel that you need to play in other counties as well. But at the same time, when you play India, it's completely different.
I agree. 100%. No doubt about that.
So just a word on Sanju Samson. Been disappointing for a lot of people. Again, in the IPL, we've seen glimpses. For India, we've seen 1 or 2 shots, then he gets out. But this was probably his series. Even in the one days, we didn't see too much. So this was probably his series to shine. And unfortunately, he didn't live up to the hype.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Sanju Samson is going into the category of, unfortunately, with due respect to everybody, in the category of Manish Pandey. There is talent that is we've seen the talent, but the consistency and the lack of consistency is a big problem. And if he continue, I think with the kind of competition that Indian cricket has at this point in time, it's going to be hard for him to make a comeback and make a place for himself in the side. And even if he does get an opportunity after being very good at the domestic level, he really has to convert. He's been given his fair share of chances, and it's just not turned out in his favor, unfortunately or fortunately. I don't know what it is, but it is something to do with the fact that we all know that there's talent. We've seen glimpses of absolute beauty from him, but especially in the second and the third game, he could have really taken the innings deep, and then the way he got out in both innings was a little, especially in the second game when he came on front foot and he just lost the ball completely. Those kind of wickets, you just can't accept. Those are not acceptable for a frontline batsman who has the experience and the talent. So I think he was the biggest disappointment for me from the series. I expect a lot more from him. He just didn't live up to it.
Yeah, and if you just look at from Sri Lanka side of things, it was a weakened India side, but if they lost this, it would have been the lowest of the low. So it was, a good result for them in that sense. And there's some talent there. I honestly feel, I don't know what you feel, that 1 year ban is a bit too much, for
way too much.
Yeah, not even a bit, way too much. I think 1 or 2 match ban should be okay with that. I understand they broke a rule, but you don't ban them for a year for that. It's the same ban of sandpaper ball tampering, right?
Yeah.
So,
unbelievable.
Yeah, I can't believe that. But if you just look at Karuna Ratne, Hasaranga as well, these guys looking really solid. Dhananjaya, he's 27, 28 now. He's reaching the peak of his career, fitness and everything. So there is talent there. No matter what the opposition was, it was a third string team, whatever. But you could still see some talent, especially on these subcontinent wickets.
Absolutely, I think there's a lot of talent over there. There's the names that you brought out, Dhananjay and Karuna Ratne. These guys actually. Dhananjay is now second in T20 bowling ranking as well, I believe. So he's been chipping away with the wickets. And Hasaranga, sorry, not Akila Dhananjay. Sorry, Hasaranga is second in the T20 wickets. In the T20 bowlers, he can bat a bit. Karuna Ratne has been giving those finishing touches whenever the team
good
has
medium
needed.
pace as well, right? Good medium
Absolutely.
pace. Yeah.
He can bowl, he can bat. I mean, the kind of flexibility that they have in the middle order, the batsmen who can bowl and the bowlers who can bat is really big. It was the difference between the India and Sri Lankan side if you look at the T20s. So they have some talent coming in. But Sri Lankan cricket, the board has a lot of problems. There's a lot of issues that's been going on, and hopefully they can sort it out, because Sri Lanka is a better side than they have been over the past 3-4 years. Hopefully they can sort it out. They've produced some brilliant players in the likes of Jayawardene, Sangakkara, Muthai Muralitharan, and so on and so forth. The Ranatungas, the Silla. They have beautiful players. It's just unfortunate that there's so much turmoil in the board and stuff like that. It's just going the West Indies route. Unfortunately, I feel like there's a lot of problems over there.
How much of an impact has the big three has had on this kind of situation with the likes of West Indies, Sri Lanka, not much money invested, and struggling? Pakistan to a certain extent as well. They're not on that level. The new format with the big three and everything like that. How much has that impacted these teams?
It has impacted these teams, I'm sure, because especially where there's a little bit of financial turmoil to add to that, to have this kind of an impact of the big three. It's just been very unfortunate for these kind of teams. But at the end of the day, it's proper management, and that's not available. It's very easy for someone like in India or in England to because they have a lot of money, so the money can be thrown and things can be shoved under the carpet, so to say. But when there's no money available, the likes of Sri Lanka, the likes of West Indies, you're seeing West Indies kind of coming back. They're allowing their players to come in and stuff like that. Sri Lanka is going the exact same route. You feel like back 3-4 years back when West Indies was suddenly just banning Chris Gayle out of no reason, not allowing Pollard to play. That's exactly what's happening with these guys as well. With the players, 1 year ban is for a COVID break. I completely agree that there should be stringent laws. Maybe 3 to 5 game ban. I can understand that, but 1 year is a bit much. So strange things are happening with Sri Lankan cricket. Hopefully, someone can really just get the management together and try to fix those things. And they have the talent. They just need to be nurtured a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. They're very well said. I think that wraps it up from that side of things. It was a good performance from Sri Lanka, really good performance. India, one-day series they won. That was a solid performance from them. So they do have depth, but then when you go deep into the reserves, it does become difficult, especially when your team is unbalanced. So fair enough they didn't win, but it's good that these guys all got tested. It sucks for our fantasy teams because now none of them will be uncapped because everyone has played for India now. But apart from that, I think it was a good series, good exposure for these guys. The young Sakaria, I think he bowled well in parts.
Yeah.
And then when it comes Chakravarti as well, yeah, he was a good.
Bhuvi's come back in forms to an extent, so that's very helpful.
I'm just disappointed that he didn't go with Suryakumar and Shaw to England. I think Bhuvi should be there for the series. Very important, but I guess with this injury,
they already have a lot of bowlers over there. Yeah.
I know they do, but I would pick that bowler over all of them. I'd pick that bowler all just because of the conditions. But at the same time, we have a T20 World Cup coming up. He played really well in the Asia Cup in Dubai in 2018, was it? So I think he'll be looking forward to this T20 World Cup. And if he can be fully fit for that, it's great for India. But I think Don wraps it up. Any last thoughts?
No, I'm looking forward to what these more of these second string, so to say, sides go in and play some cricket when the bigger team is probably this is a great idea to do. Give the A side enough time to prepare for test matches and stuff. Give them a 2 or 3 games, and while that is happening, you can have the second string Indian side go and play a series against the West Indies, Sri Lanka, and so on and so forth. That would be really nice to have cricket going on and giving them enough time to kind of prepare for the big tournaments as well.
That's a fantastic point because, like I said, IPL is completely different to international cricket. And if these guys can continue to play like this, they will improve and that will strengthen India. Right now, you're saying, India has reserves and everything, but the only way they can fine tune these reserves and actually make them proper international players is give them game time. So I completely agree with you, especially with, the likes of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli aging now. You want your young fruit to come. You want your next leader to come into the team. You want that core again, that Pujara, Rahane, Kohli, Rohit Kaur. They haven't won much, but they've been consistent team, right? So you want something like that. And I think that wraps it up. Just one last question. If the cricket was in the Olympics, I'm surprised it's not, because I've seen random sports in the Olympics. There's darts, there's this, there's horse riding, there's everything, but there's no cricket. But if cricket was an Olympic sport, who would have won the Olympics?
Oh man, that's
who would have won the gold medal?
United States of America.
I like that. But
no, it would have been interesting, but I think India would have had a good chance over there.
Yeah, and then we all have to see the gold medal fight would have been the interesting.
I mean, it is pretty much everyone else as well. Like the likes of Australia and Pakistan, everyone's going to be available. It's pretty much like another World Cup or something of the sort.
Maybe try the 100 for the Olympics. You never know, right?
They should try something. I can't believe that there's no cricket available. There's
random
also,
sports,
like you said, there's also sports. Some random, I'd not be surprised.
They're throwing darts or what is it, archery? There's which is fine, which is amazing. You need concentration, but I've seen everything. I've seen every sport. Yeah, I've been following. I've seen every sport, and I just keep thinking, where's the bat? Where's the ball? But I think that's a debate for another time. But thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you very soon with the India-England series coming up. So one series is done, another series resuming, and this is going to be a big series. Not resuming, sorry, commencing. India versus England, and I will catch you for the preview for that.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, man. Take care.